Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, welcome to my studio. I'm Guy Dorian Senior, and I'm gonna just goof around and stretch my hands and eyes and thought process a little this morning. I thought I'd do a little quick Silver Surfer sketch. Um, I lightly laid it in so that this wouldn't take more than a minute or two. Um, but just did it real quick just now. Very, very light. You might be able to see. I'm not sure how well you can see on the camera, but so let's go. I had shaped out the form here, really light form here of Silver Surfer, and now I'm going to just come in here. And what I'm using right now is this is a black color pencil. I like to draw with a black color pencil a lot. Um, Animators use black color pencil. Um, and I find it great because you can go all the way to the extremes of a full black, uh, uh, and you can go to all different tones of grays, um, and as you can see, I'm filling this in. I prefer a bit more of a. He has to have this, like, I don't know, sort of this like majestic look to himself, even if he's uh, 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 in a Kirby illustration. You'll see a more majestic kind of a thing, like John Buscema and such. And I prefer him always having this majestic. But here's the thing is like some artists, they draw in um, a lot of details, shine, and as he's traveling through space, you'll see a lot of reflection and everything, and that is one way to go. That is one way to go. But Silver Surfer has always been a little less shiny when you look at Jack Kirby drawing him, or you look at John Buscema drawing him. And I think maybe it was because he was uh, uh, it's actually skin. It's not, even though he's silver, it's actually skin. So maybe more like someone who has silver makeup on their skin rather than made of chrome. It's just a little different. But anyway, so I'm gonna come in here. I am gonna put some reflective details in there, but I might stick a little more with uh, the traditional. Uh, Really, if I'm gonna be really traditional, like John Buscema, he barely put in any uh, details of any kind. He just preferred leaving Silver Surfer mostly open like this. Now, when Jack did Silver Surfer, he uh, he made this dark rim around the eyes, really dark rim. Actually, Jack made it even more pronounced. The eyes were larger even than what I'm drawing here. Um, but I tend to like to draw it like this, so I'm gonna leave it here at where I feel good and comfortable uh, with the size of the eye. At least in my vision, that's the way I would see it. So I'm going to add some shine here, and again, I'm not going to use a lot. I'm just going to use a little to show you how how you really don't need much for a Silver Surfer. You can do more, um, but you really don't need to. Just John Buscema used to do a couple of soft lines. So did Kirby over here on the cheekbone. Maybe over here a little tense, tense uh, uh, jawbone there. Um, don't really need much on the face. I'll come in here maybe and add a little bit, just enough to make him look shiny. Now, I could add darker tone under here. Kirby would sometimes come in here and he would do like this dark tone right under the eyes coming this way, and under the nose. but not always, but sometimes. Um, but I think I am gonna add a Kirby squiggle right here, because why the hell not? It's always fun to do a Kirby squiggle. Um, put it in over here, and sort of going along the form of the skull, so it's not just blatant. He doesn't have ears, but I like to kind of give the idea that he might, because he hears. So I don't draw in an ear, but I will draw in kind of like this shadow, like as if there might be something there that would help him hear. Um, you come in here, add a little bit more. Sometimes I put some lines on the nose, but I don't like to get too crazy like that, because sometimes less is more. You don't need too much. You never want to go further than what you have to go. And what I mean by have to go is, well, you have to show the structures, you have to show the forms, you have to make the character look like the character, but you really don't have to go past that. I mean, you can, but it doesn't always serve the image, or serve the illustration. I was talking to some people recently about doing portraits when they're doing portraits, and one guy I like to look at a lot is Buddy Bill Sienkiewicz. He is obviously one of the greatest illustrators of all time, but in and in comics and such. But but you know the thing about Bill is Bill knows when to stop. That's the thing about that, is that it's so important that it sort of separates the professionals from the guys who might even be like right there. They're getting close to being a pro, but they're not quite a pro yet. It's because uh, once you know how to answer things, choose what you're supposed to do. That's the hardest part of being a non-pro, is trying to figure out what you can't do, what you should and shouldn't do. Um, Again, that is a choice for everyone. I know Dave Finch is incredible illustrator. Actually taught himself to draw from comic books, which sort of, he did study Bridgman a lot, but I mean he likes to put in a lot of detail, but really not. It depends on what it is. If you really take a look at it, what he does is he just goes, oh, okay, here's my positive and negative space. Here's my contour line drawing, and then and his structure drawing, and then he'll go in there and he'll add shadows in, and then he'll pull from the shadows and add hatching, which is detail, or rendering, some people call it, to make it look more dimensional. But lots of times you don't even need to go past that, and you could see in some of his illustrations he doesn't even go past the black and white. And this is also what John Buscema was a master at, and my buddy Sal Buscema. Sal's been my inker for quite a long time now. It's about 7 years now, and we have some new projects coming, actually. But I think I was already done basically with our Silver Surfer here. You have a little tension line over here. I don't like to, do the whole striated 90s necks anymore, those Silvestri striations. They were good for a time. Not knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. I'm just saying that it's not really done anymore now. As you can see, this is the Silver Surfer. He is done. He looks majestic. I don't really need any more than this. Once I drop in a black background, if I put in a border over here and put in or a box, even, because you should always have some type of shape framing the character, and I can actually show you real quick here. If I just turn this over, I might be able to do it by hand, and I'll create just this box here. And you want to kind of go up a little bit so that you can come down a little bit too. So I'm creating this little box here, and once I do that, how low I should go, I'm not sure, but as you can see, I'm going to stop about there. And in order to do this line even with that line, I made this line even with the border of the paper. Now when I draw this line, I look at this line while I draw that line. If I do that, it's going to help me follow a straight path in a straight line. My toys are getting in the way here, but I like having them out there because I'm also a toy designer and they inspire me. And that line of action figures just won a major award in the toy industry. Best Toy of the Year, I believe, actually. Um, so I'm not sure that this pencil is long enough to do this line, so I will have to look at my other line and lightly put this in. Look at the side of the paper here, lightly put that in, get a basic idea of where that's going to go. And now I'll take my ruler and I will just rule that real quick. And now you can see that if I add black back here with stars and everything, it's really going to frame him and really bring him into this space world. So like I could now add a planet over here. I'm just going to make a big shadow here. Smaller planet here. These are the Kirby planet over planet, moon over planet, moon near planet kind of a thing. Kirby and Sinnott did this very much. They would also, John Buscema would add a shape that was moving, something moving in space. And it was usually a curvilinear form. Even though it had rectilinear edges at some times, it would have curvilinear form. And then I might, I don't want to do the same weight up here of this. I want to add, I need a balance. I need a balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I'm going to add a planet over here on this corner to balance us out. And Joe and Jack, Joe Sinnott, we lost him a few years ago. Loved Joe. He's such a great guy. They would make some of the most beautiful starred backgrounds and space backgrounds you ever saw. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy how good they were. And I'm just going to add a little bit of a burst here. As you can see, this color pencil can do these. What this is, it's like a brush stroke, and it's called a feather stroke. Feather strokes go from thick to thin, and I'm creating this burst. I really should be turning my paper more, but I have all my freaking toys here. There you go. So like this is very much like I'm also an inker, and as an inker, you always want to turn your paper. Even when you're illustrating like this, see now I have this nice type of old-time burst here. Now you see how he's really starting to stand out. He's really starting to stand out. So, then I would add a bunch of these. And now there's something John Byrne did a lot, and still does a lot. He will add rocks, floating rocks, and he would do them sometimes in all different ways, but I always like to add a little floating rocks. And this you can accomplish some shadow. Basically it's one shape, it's a form, and then cast shadow, and it looks almost like slate at times. And then you can, usually I wouldn't do this. I would do some I wouldn't draw stars like this. I wouldn't put them in like this. But just for the sake of remembering that I need to, I'm going to put some circles here and leave a little negative space. They're going to wind up being really small though once I fill it in, but you'll see why. Um, I don't recommend doing it this way. It's usually like a spatter, even if it's in pencil, color pencil. I usually use a bit of a spatter of non-pro white or white acrylic and such. Um, but here now I can fill this in, and you'll start to see how this just comes to life now that I have uh, some type of background, and it's usually in a geometric shape. Geometric shapes are just the greatest thing in the world. You don't need anything more than really a triangle or a square or a rectangle. I mean, you could go crazy with your geometric shapes and make them all wild, but you don't really need to. Sometimes it's better to not do that because you have you want all that in here. You know, you want the movement in the figure. I want. It's not that I can't do it with the shape again, but I prefer the the shape being more rectilinear because a human figure or a figure that is humanoid will usually be there are no straight lines. Even though in comics you draw straight lines sometimes just to create an edge and a look, there really are no straight lines on the human figure or organic figures. So what I'm trying to get at is that utilizing the difference between organic and inanimate. Okay, and now so then when I use this um, uh, the rectilinear form, it will be a non-organic form, and I think of it as such. And it's the dichotomy. It's the opposite of what Silver Surfer is here, and all of his lines on him are all curvilinear. So even if they look a little rectilinear at times. So now check this out. Now our Silver Surfer really looks almost like a finished piece. I mean, it really does. Now I can add a border along the edges of this as well. If I add a border along the edges of this and darken that up, it'll even pop even more. Made it a little thicker at the top. I'm dropping all my pencils and everything, but I do that all the time. Let's see here. Maybe a little thinner at the top. I think I'm gonna keep it like so. And now I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna do another. And I don't know how straight this is. I'm just going by eye, pretty much. I usually do not. I make sure everything is exactly straight. But, you know, sometimes I don't mind, you know, especially on a video. So as you can see, oops, smearing it a little, but just a little bit, because I added that extra black. So here you can see, now it's really starting to look completely complete. So there you go, guys. That is the Silver Surfer. And if anyone's interested in any of this, just let me know or contact Mike Alderman, and I'll get you one of these, you know, for a fee. And so let me sign this here. I usually sign going this way, but I think for this one I'm going to sign it down here. I prefer usually a vertical signature because I don't want my signature to stand. I want to be part of the image usually. But this is closer to the edge, and if somebody wants to frame it at some point, I don't want to get in their way. So I'm going to sign it here. Okay, Dorian Sr., yeah. I don't know the date. It might be the 3rd today. So 6, 3, All right, guys. So that is the final. It was nice having you guys in my studio for a little bit, and I want you to enjoy the day. Okay. Let's check this out. Let me move the camera over here and bring you over to Silver Surfer. And you can see how simple it was to use just basic geometric shapes to create Silver Surfer here. Nothing too extraneous. Alright guys, have a great day, okay? It was nice having you here.